Scaredy Cats, welcome back. We noticed 94.5% are not subscribed. If that includes you, hit the subscribe button. Story 1. It was a typical Thursday night. I was up late, binging some show or another to pass the time. That's when it started. My phone rang, slicing through the silence of my dimly lit living room. I glanced at the screen, expecting to see a telemarketer or a wrong number at this hour, but there was no caller ID, just unknown. Curiosity got the better of me, and I answered. Hello. There was silence on the other end, just heavy breathing. Hello, I repeated, a bit firmer this time. The line went dead. I shrugged it off as a prank call and went back to my show. But the phone rang again, the same unknown caller. I answered, irritation creeping into my voice. This time a whisper so soft I almost didn't catch it. Don't look outside. The line went dead again. My heart skipped a beat. It had to be some kids messing around, I thought. Trying to ignore the uneasy feeling in my stomach, I went back to my show. But after a few minutes, curiosity and a growing sense of dread got the better of me. I paused the show and peered through the blinds. Nothing. Just the quiet, empty street. I tried to laugh it off, tried to convince myself it was nothing. But then the phone rang a third time. I stared at it, my heart pounding in my chest. I answered, "Who is this?" The same whisper, now a bit louder, "Don't look outside." I dropped the phone and rushed to lock my front door. My mind raced. Was someone out there, watching me? I moved away from the window and sat down, trying to calm my breathing. Minutes passed, or was it hours? Every sound made me jump. Finally, I mustered the courage to look outside again. This time I saw him. A figure, standing across the street, just staring at my house. Not moving, just standing there, watching. I ducked down quickly, heart hammering. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't call the cops. What would I say? That someone told me not to look outside and now they're just standing there? I stayed up all night, every noise making me more paranoid. When morning came, the figure was gone. I tried to convince myself it had been a shadow or a trick of the light, but the fear lingered. I didn't receive any more calls after that night, and I never saw the figure again. But sometimes when it's late and the phone rings, a chill runs down my spine, and I can't help but wonder if it's them calling to make sure I'm still following their chilling advice. Story 2. Every night I follow the same routine: brush my teeth, wash my face, and check the doors are locked before heading to bed. But one night, something felt off. As I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, a feeling of unease washed over me. The room felt colder, and the light above the mirror flickered momentarily. I ignored it, attributing it to my fatigue after a long day. As I leaned closer to the mirror to examine a spot on my cheek, I noticed something strange in the reflection. It wasn't me. The face staring back was similar but subtly wrong. The eyes were too dark, the smile just slightly too wide. I blinked, and in an instant, it was just me again. My regular face, looking concerned and a little pale. I laughed nervously, shaking my head at my own paranoia. But as I turned to leave, the air felt heavy, almost suffocating. I glanced back at the mirror, and there it was again, that off version of myself, grinning now. My heart raced, and I quickly turned on every light as I made my way to the bedroom. I didn't look back. That night I struggled to sleep, every shadow in my room making me jump. Eventually exhaustion took over, and I fell into a restless sleep. I dreamt of mirrors, of countless reflections of myself, all slightly wrong, all watching me with those dark, unnerving eyes. The next morning I avoided the bathroom, using the small mirror in the hallway instead. The day passed without incident, but as night fell, the dread returned. I had to use the bathroom, but the thought of facing that mirror again was paralyzing. I mustered all my courage and went in. The reflection was normal, just me looking a bit worse for wear. I sighed in relief, but as I moved to leave, the reflection didn't follow. It just stood there, watching me leave, that too wide smile spreading slowly across its face. I backed away, stumbling out of the bathroom, and slammed the door shut. I leaned against it, heart pounding in my ears. I didn't know what to do. Was I losing my mind? Was this some kind of hallucination? I stayed at a friend's house that night and the following few nights. Eventually I had to return home. I covered every mirror in the house, unable to face them. It's been weeks now, and nothing strange has happened. But sometimes in the dead of night I swear I can hear a faint whisper, calling me back to uncover the mirrors. Story 3. It had been a long day, and I was grateful to finally crawl into bed. My apartment was usually a place of solace, but tonight it felt unsettlingly quiet. Just as I was drifting off, a sound jolted me awake, the unmistakable creak of floorboards in the hallway. I lived alone, which made the sound all the more alarming. Lying still, I listened intently. There it was again, a slow, deliberate creak, like the weight of someone stepping carefully down the hall. My heart raced as I considered my options. Was it a burglar? Should I confront them, or stay silent, hoping they'd leave? Deciding it was safer to stay put, I grabbed my phone, ready to call the police. But as I dialed, the footsteps stopped right outside my bedroom door. I froze, my finger hovering over the call button. The silence stretched out, thick and suffocating. Then, without warning, the door handle turned slowly. I held my breath, the phone slipping from my sweaty grip. The door creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness in the hall. No silhouette, no shadow that could explain the noise. Gathering every ounce of courage, I flicked on the bedside lamp and leapt out of bed, ready to face whatever was there. But the hall was empty, the stillness mocking my fear. I checked every room, every closet, and under the bed. Nothing was out of place, and there was no sign of forced entry. Exhausted and unnerved, I tried to convince myself it had been the product of stress or a vivid dream. I returned to bed, leaving the lights on this time, but sleep eluded me, every little sound sending a shock of fear through my tired body. The next night it happened again, the slow, heavy footsteps in the hall. This time I didn't hesitate, I called the police. They arrived quickly and searched the apartment thoroughly. Again, they found nothing amiss. The officers suggested it might be the building settling or pipes, but I knew it was more than that. I could feel it. Reluctantly, I began to accept the nightly visits, the sound of unseen feet pacing the hall outside my room. It became a haunting ritual, one that left me haggard and perpetually on edge. I couldn't move out, trapped by a lease and a tight budget, so I endured. Then one evening, as I braced for the footsteps, they changed. Instead of stopping at my door, they continued, fading away as if whoever or whatever was walking had finally found their way home. Since that night, the footsteps have not returned. But the fear lingers, a constant companion in the darkness. I still jump at every creak and groan of the old apartment, a part of me always listening, wondering if they will come back.